Check out these monsters.
These are the top 10 catches that we've caught in our crab pots in Alaska.
Holy cow, it's the moment I've been waiting for. Freaking huge.
Oh, this hasn't even gotten good yet.
It's a hell of a day at sea.
Yes, it is.
I fished 2 summers in Alaska for Dungeness crabs, and in all that time, thousands of crabs have literally passed through my hands. Of course, the number one thing we like to get in our pots are these big, huge male crabs like this one.
Freaking 9 inches.
But I always have the camera ready in case something crazy came up in the pot. And I'm about to tell you what the top 10 craziest catches of all time were that we got in Alaska. The number 1 coolest catch was literally the highlight of my year. Coming in at number 10, we have this spiny fish called a sculpin.
This is a horny sculpin. Check out that baby. Look at those lips.
If you're not careful, these spines on the back of his head will poke through your gloves and your hands will literally ache all day. They're not to be messed around with. Actually, our captain said that it's best to run our pots as often as possible and get these spiny fish out of the crab pot. He claims it's because they ate the crabs when they were young, and he definitely thinks that it prevents the pots from fishing as well.
Do you have any bait ready for this crab?
Oh yeah, bait. That's funny, and I sure do.
Quite a bit cooler than the sculpin, and coming in at number 9, we have these horny spiny fish called the Irish molt.
It's Irish Lord. He's kind of buzzing right now underneath me. I think he's a little upset. He's horny. This is the coolest Irish Lord I've seen so far. Check out his cool polka dots.
They're a type of bottom fish. Be careful, they have these huge horns on the top of their head and on the sides of their mouth. We actually never tried to eat one, but they always seemed glad to get out of the pot. Coming in at number 8 is this skip molt crab.
This is the ugliest crab I've ever seen.
It's not that bad. Oh yeah, he is.
Look at that.
Isn't that crazy? I actually called this one the fuggliest crab that I had ever seen.
This is what happens when they get old and their shells get old. They get all these barnacles.
Adult crabs usually molt their shells once a year. Molting helps with lots of things besides just helping the crabs grow bigger. They shed their old shells and usually a bunch of barnacles. It also helps their new limbs to grow in. Occasionally the crabs will miss a molt for some reason. I don't exactly know why, and they'll end up getting extra barnacles. I'm sure this is totally not cool while they're trying to maneuver the bottom of the ocean. I personally think that they're some of the most badass crabs.
Now Chris says that he doesn't want to eat him because he'll taste bad and he's got standards, but I have no standards for eating crabs anyways, and I'm gonna eat him. Garrett, you gonna eat him? Garrett doesn't have any standards either.
Coming in at number 7, we have these monster sunflower sea stars.
Orange starfish. Here's what it looks like. Wow, look at his stomach. That's so cool. He's like, quit talking about my stomach.
Crazy fact, in 2013, there was a huge die-off of literally billions and billions of starfish from Alaska all the way down to Mexico on the Pacific coast. The captain of our boat says that in his opinion, it seemed to happen from one day to the next. In one spot where he would usually put crab pots that were sometimes full of starfish, it seemed like so quickly he would have that same pot there and there was no starfish whatsoever, but a ton of crabs. This is actually a really, really sad phenomenon. All these years later, scientists actually think that it was from a bacteria that was causing the starfish to lose their limbs and literally waste away. But this bay where we were fishing in Alaska, it was literally untouched from this bacteria. We got a lot of big starfish like this, which is actually really not cool for fishing, but it was really cool to see them come up in the crab pots. Also, these huge starfish are some of the fastest starfish in the ocean. They have anywhere from 16 to 24 arms and literally 15,000 feet. They can move about a meter a minute. And coming up in the pot right now, I'm calling number 6.
This is crabs clutching. Look at that little girl right there.
These crabs right here are actually clutching. A big male will smell the hormones of a small female crab that's ready to mate. And actually, when he gets close to her and she decides that he's the one, she actually pees on his antennae. Isn't that crazy? There's a ton of hormones in her urine that let him know, hey baby, I'm ready to mate.
It may look like he's eating her, but they're not. They're reproducing. This is how they get it on. She will back out of her shell. He will fertilize her eggs and protect her a little bit longer. There's the crab love story.
Nature is so awesome. This paper soft crab, I'm calling the 5th coolest thing I've seen in the crab pot.
He literally just molted like super recently, and he's kind of still pink and the shell is super soft.
And they are extremely vulnerable when this happens. It is actually so weird how soft their hard shell becomes after they molt.
Even his pinchers are a little soft. Oh, they're so soft. His whole body is so malleable. This is when they start to bury up. I wonder why he even came in the pot, because he's so dang soft. Wow, he just feels like jelly.
On the East Coast, I know that they often eat soft-shell crabs, like in Maryland, for example, like we see here on Luke McFadden's channel.
That's a fried soft crab. If your sandwich don't have legs, ain't no crab.
But I don't know of anyone ever eating soft-shell Dungeness crabs. It might be because there's a ton of guts in them, or because the crabs are bigger, or maybe they eat them in other countries that I'm not aware of, but we do not eat soft-shell crabs.
Wow, that was so cool.
Coming in at number 4, we have a halibut in the pot.
She's just a baby.
Man, these halibuts are so cool. Look at this halibut right here on the bottom of the ocean. They literally can grow to be hundreds of pounds. Did you know that the biggest halibut are actually the females? The smaller halibut are often called chickens by fishermen, and also the males tend to be on the smaller side. The huge females like this one right here are actually called breeders. They are super important for the longevity of the species. We threw this little guy back, of course.
Yep.
We got a king crab. Woo-hoo!
Coming in at number 3 is this king crab. Wow, that was the coolest thing ever. I had never seen a king crab up close before. I only had ever seen him on the Deadliest Catch. And actually our crab pots right here, the tunnels are actually built for Dungeness crabs, so they are really great about not catching a ton of bycatch, but this king crab was just small enough to make it into the pot.
This is a little baby, so he's supposed to be 7 inches across, so he's missing this much.
Fun fact, Dungeness crabs, king crabs, and snow crabs all prefer different habitats. If there's one crab in the area, generally that species of crab tends to overtake the area for food and breeding rights. King crabs are in a different depth, snow crabs are in a different depth, Dungeness crabs are in a different depth. It's like there's a certain crab for every part of the ocean.
I really want to eat him, but it's just a baby.
As he was small, and as he was our first king crab, oh yeah, and because it's illegal, we decided not to eat him. We threw him back, but man, that was so cool to see.
He's gonna go down and tell his buddies, that was awesome. Oh my gosh.
The second craziest thing I've ever seen in the pot
There's something incredible in the pot.
Oh no.
Check this baby out.
is this wolf eel right here. These wolf eels are extremely strong. Generally, they don't bite people unless they're being messed with or poked with by humans, or unless they want to eat. Their sharp teeth and really strong bite force can actually bite through the hard shell of an adult crab and even a sea urchin. They're some crazy looking animals, and they usually live in rocky environments, which is typically not ideal for crabbing. So we actually do not catch these guys very often, and that makes him our second coolest catch I've ever seen in the crab pot. And now for the number 1 coolest catch.
Holy cow, it's the moment I've been waiting for. The giant octopus.
We got this giant Pacific octopus right here. This is the largest octopus species on Earth. They're extremely intelligent and extremely strong. They move about the ocean not only by propelling water, but also by using their 8 arms and over 2,000 suckers on their legs. This is probably one of the craziest creatures in the ocean.
We're gonna let her go. That's just too pretty to eat. You free, mama.
Can't wait to show you guys more cool catches.